All right, it's 1:30. We've got Senior Raider Nick Straw with us. We'll go 3 questions each the first time through. Wags, go ahead, start us off.
Well, Nick, I would ask you first, what's kind of the state of mind within the program among the players? Obviously, outside the program, there's a lot of negativity after the first 2 games. What is it like within the program? You guys still positive, still believing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one good thing about this team is that these guys don't quit. I mean, yeah, we're pretty disappointed about what happened these past 2 games, but there's no doubt that we're ready and excited to get after it this weekend to really get that taste out of our mouths. Like, we know we have so much we can accomplish and yet to accomplish this year. All of our goals are still ahead of us, right? But just start this weekend though. And so we're all excited to get after it and, prove who we are. And so now there's no negativity. I mean, obviously you're upset. We're all competitive. We all want to win, but get back to work on Monday, and start prepping for ECU and get ready to play the game. So we're pretty good.
What was the message among the senior leaders, such as yourself, to some of the younger players about how to proceed, how to get? I mean, it is only the 3rd game of the season. Teams do improve. You don't play the same way in game 1 as you do in game 10. What was the message among the senior leaders to the younger players?
Yeah, our thing is that, our goals are still ahead of us, right? Our New Year's 6, bowl game goal, that's scrapped. But, CIC, winning the conference, that's all still ahead of us. We can all still accomplish those things. But it starts now. It starts with ECU. We got to beat ECU and get back on track. And so it's kind of like, it is a big bummer. Yeah, 2 games down, whatever. But it's all still in our grasp. It's all still in our hands. We still control our own destiny. Just got to go and win some games now. So that's been my message. Our message pretty much is just like, it's all still ahead of us, and we can do what we want to do with this season. It's not over yet. It's been 2 games. Who cares? Like, let's keep playing.
On the surface, losing 2 games at home to start the season would not bode well, and then you've got to go on the road. But I also know that sometimes you all like to get on the road and get out there. Bunker mentality. It's just you and your teammates and the coaches. And do you think that in a way this actually might be a good thing to get out there by yourselves? You don't have to worry about fans, outside influences, parents at the team hotel and all?
Yeah, I mean, personally speaking, I think it's pretty nice to kind of get away from Annapolis and just really, your focus when you travel is only just the game. There's no Bancroft, there's no, Naval Academy, influence. It's all just, you get on that plane and it's all a business trip after that. And so I love away games. A lot of guys feel the same way. So I think it's good for us to go on the road. We go to ECU. Last time we were there, we got the win. So I think I'm excited for this game and excited to go out there and get us back on track.
Let's go to Scott Wyckoff.
Hey, Nick, what's the key, do you think, overall for you guys to go to ECU and play well and come out of there and win?
I think the key is, first and foremost, stopping the run. I mean, they have 2 very talented running backs there. And, I think if we can stop the run, make the team very one-dimensional, that's how we can win the game. And so that's our focus. I mean, first and foremost is just kill the run, make them one-dimensional, make them have to pass the ball, and then we'll get after them by dialing up pressures and whatever and doing it that way. But we got to stop their running backs first and foremost.
What do you see on film from their quarterback, Holton Ahlers, that makes him so good?
He's a talented kid. I mean, he's been playing for a bit now, and he's a big and physical guy. So, I mean, it's the toughest thing I think is like 3rd and medium to 3rd and short is that when he drops back to pass, he's not just looking to pass. He can run the ball too to get it with his feet. So if you drop 8 guys or drop however many guys, he's still a threat there. And so he's talented. He's very good when he's in the pocket, when he's on schedule. And so that's where his biggest talent is, in my opinion, throwing the ball. They're running the ball, if it's 3rd and medium and short, like he can make that up on his own. So that's kind of where you have to be aware of.
And I know that's something Coach Newberry's talked about, really wanting to improve on this year, the situational football you guys play in defense.
Yeah, that's been a big thing. And so like in practice or in games, we'll all call out the down and distance, saying 3rd and 5 or like 2nd and 10, because there's certain plays like offensive coordinators want to run when you have this certain situation. You might want to gain half the yardage back, or you want to, go for the sticks on 3rd down. So it kind of affects how, in your mind, you know what they're going to probably try and do. They're going to probably try and go for the sidelines, go for the sticks, do X, Y, and Z. So you can kind of play it and know where they're going to go. So that's very helpful.
Thanks, Nick.
Phil Bergman.
Nick, what's one thing you've been trying to work on in practice over the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I would say I've been really trying to focus on just being really physical with the offensive line and just getting after them and pressuring the quarterback and just being relentless in that aspect. I think my coverage has been good so far this season. It's really improved in the past couple of years. But I think one thing I can really do is just affect the quarterback more and just try and, I guess that's when they're passing the ball, we win first down, win second down, stop the run. What happens next? They're going to pass the ball, obviously. So what can I do? Affect the quarterback, get after him. That's what my focus has kind of been for this past few weeks.
There's you guys have had a lot of team meetings since the last game. Has there been any player speeches or a coach moment that like really flipped the switch with you guys since that Memphis game?
Yeah, Coach Niemont gave a talk to us. I think it was Monday or Tuesday after the Memphis game. And it was a good talk, just kind of like reminding us of what's still ahead of us. And that's kind of been my big thing. Because again, like I said, we're all competitive. We all love like to compete and we do this to win. Like, if you don't play to win, don't play, right? But it's like reminding us that everything is right in our grasp. Like beat ECU and to beat one team at a time and take it 1 week at a time, one practice, one snap at a time. Like that's been just kind of like, because it's easy to kind of get just weighed down by the weight of we have to do all these things to get back on track, but it's just one little thing at a time and just winning one game and knowing that our goals are right here. This season is not over. Like we can do everything we want to do. We can be a great team. Like we have the parts, we just got to go do it. So he kind of talked on that a little bit last week. And that was, for me, that was good to hear. And I liked hearing that. And that kind of has been my personal, just sort of, let's get after it. Let's go.
I know last season the team had a sour taste in their mouth after the ECU loss. Is that giving you just like that extra chip on your shoulder heading into Saturday?
Yeah, looking over the scouting report and just seeing how like just the stats that the quarterback put up last year against us, and we pride ourselves on being a very good defense, right? And we are a good defense, but that was a game where we did not show it. We let them put up some serious numbers against us. I was looking at that and just kind of it's like seething. Like we let this guy, talented quarterback, but we let him have a great game against us, and that can't happen, and that won't happen on Saturday. So again, just seeing those stats and seeing like, man, like we gotta play better. That's not who we are on defense. Like in the score, like just letting up all those points and yardage, like that's not who we are. So seeing that and being reminded of how like, because our offense scored a ton of points that game. Like they kept us in the game, but we didn't do our job as well. And that just reminded me like, if we can do our job, we can win games. Like, so just this weekend, we just got to go do that. And that, yeah, got me fired up pretty much.
Thank you.
Pete Medhurst.
Nick, by nature, early bye weeks aren't ideal. You'd like them placed in the middle, that way guys get a little extra time to rest and recover. But based on the way the first two games went, was there any benefit to this bye week being placed where it was for you guys as a team to kind of hit the reset button here over the last week and a half?
Yeah, I'll say exactly that. It's like a reset. We're kind of focusing on ourselves, for a week and kind of tightening up our stuff that we do, like our defensive stuff and our schemes and our coverages and correcting those mistakes that we screwed up in Delaware and against Memphis. And so, yeah, again, you do want it later on so you can rest up, later on the season and kind of recover that way. But I think it's a good sort of just first two games break. Okay, what did we do wrong? How can we fix it? Let's work on our stuff, breathe, focus, explode. Okay, let's get back into it. Now we're back in the fight. And so I think that Saturday will be a good show for the improvement we've made, just kind of correcting our as Coach Newberry says, our beat ourselves. And so I think that we'll be able to see just the work we've put in and that's the corrections we've made in the past, week or so. And I think it's been really good for us.
Working with the other leaders on the team, do you guys have to kind of keep an eye out for guys that may have had that confidence hurt a little bit over the first 2 weeks and kind of help them maintain focus, particularly with as many underclassmen as you all have playing right now?
Yeah, I was going to say we have a pretty young team, so that is a factor, right? But again, a lot of guys here like want to fight and want to compete. And so and it's easy to get in that trap of just like, oh, woe is me. Like first two games didn't go according to plan. Like what we've worked so hard for this and now it's like this. But like just reminding people that, listen, like, we can still achieve what we want to achieve. Like, this season is still in our hands. Like, let's go do it. That's helping guys just really just stay focused, stay locked in, and I guess staying hungry too, because like you want that taste washed out of your mouth as fast as possible and as well as possible too. So I think guys are hungry now after like kind of seeing that and being reminded of that to go out there and execute well on Saturday.
Working alongside your guys up front, how do Jacob and Donald and Clay help you all on that defense do your job? I know it's kind of a symphony. Everything has to work and orchestrate with each other. But how do those three guys and the way they're playing help you all do your jobs?
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing really well thus far, and I'm really excited for Buse and Biscuit and Clay. And so when they do well, when they get pressure on the quarterback, when they take up multiple guys on the offensive line, like it frees up our backers to play well and play downhill. It frees up our coverage, because if Newberry can drop 8 people in coverage and have 3 guys rush and have Clay, Biscuit, and Buse rush and just still affect the quarterback, I mean, that's such a benefit you can have on defense. And so with them rushing as they are and affecting the quarterbacks as they are and kind of pressuring as they are, I think it's really giving Newberry some freedom to kind of play more coverage or like try different things. And so it's a huge weight off your shoulders when your front 3 guys are really just laying down the hammer on the offensive line.
Great. Appreciate it, sir. Good luck Saturday.
Jay, do you have any questions, Jay?
No, I'm all good.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
No problem. We'll go back around. Just ask whatever you need now. Wags.
So Nick, we were talking to Coach Niamat yesterday, and he was asked about the strengths of the team, and he kind of was like, well, after 0-2 start, I don't really feel there's a lot of strengths. But then on reflection, he said that he thought D-line and both linebacker units outside and inside. Do you feel good about how the front 7 has played so far? Obviously, you're doing a good job stopping the run.
Yeah, I'm very encouraged by our front 7. We've been playing well in the first 2 games, but I guess my biggest metric is winning, and I don't care like the stats that we put up, and we're putting up good stats. Like, I am really impressed with our guys and how we've been playing, but we can always do more. And kind of my message last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago and against Delaware is like, yeah, we're playing well. Yeah, we're letting up, only a couple of yards rushing, but what more can we do? We have to get sacks. We have to get turnovers, get the ball out when they're running it. Like, just try and find more ways to affect the quarterback and affect the offense and to get, our offense in a good field position. And so I'm impressed with how we've been playing, but obviously, like, until we're winning, like, we can always do more. We can always get better, always improve. But yeah, our guys are playing, like, our front 7's been playing really well, but there's still much more room to improve upon.
Well, so obviously Memphis hit some big pass plays. And I know there were breakdowns in the secondary, but is there something, because you're facing another high-powered passing offense, a good quarterback again this week, is there anything the front 7 can do to help the back end?
Yeah, it's like I just said, just pressuring them. I mean, if you have somebody in your face, I don't care how good you are, like, you're going to be thinking a bit, you're going to be making a bad pass. And even the pros do that, right? And so I guess our goal as a front 7 is to really affect the quarterback, hit him a couple of times, get him thinking, a lot, get him, running out of the pocket or, just trying to affect him as much as we can and pressure him, getting hands in his field of vision so he can't, see as well. That's what we can help our secondary out. Because if they're covering for, 2-3 seconds, that's that they can handle that. They can do really well with just that, but if they're covering for 10 seconds, having to run along, the field with some fast receivers, I mean, that's tough for anybody. So I guess our biggest role is to get after the quarterback and affect him so that he's not able to sit back there and pick apart, guys running for 10 plus, for a long time.
So Coach Niamat said that he was pleased with some of the physical practices you had last week. Obviously, it was a chance for Navy to get better and focus on itself. And I think you probably had a couple practices in which you went good on good and really got after it. Can you kind of expound on that perhaps?
Yeah, we had some practices. It wasn't quite ones on ones, but like ones on our 2. So it's still like good on good essentially. And yeah, it was good just because like the pacing. I mean, our scout team works their butts off every day, but it's just a little different when you're having your guys who actually play in the game. And so that was really good to see and really good to just work on our physicality and our speed instead of the game. And it was a good time, and it's also competitive too. So it just gets like, everyone getting after it. So it was good for us and good to just really kind of get back to that and get back to who we are as a team. But yeah, that was good for us, I think.
Scott Wyckoff.
When you go into an environment like ECU and Greenville where they've got good crowd energy, I mean, do you guys play off that energy in road games that you try to turn that around and use it to your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that Coach Neiman always talks about is bringing your own juice. So like sometimes I practice on like the music playing, for warm-ups and that kind of stuff, and he'll just cut it off. And also like, bring your own juice, and so it's like, it's not about what's happening out here. It's about what's happening like in here and in here. Like if you can bring your own juice, I don't care if you're playing in South Bend, if you're playing in, some empty high school stadium, like that's the key to that stuff. And I love, that environment. I love when it's like, loud and people are out there cheering. I think it's super energizing, I mean, home or away, but you got to bring your own juice. You got to, I guess, motivate yourself to go out there and do it. So I think I love it a lot. I feed off of that. I know a lot of guys feed off of that. I think it's been good for us.
Thanks.
Phil Bergman.
Nick, I know you said earlier you're not a numbers guy, but the run defense right now is ranked 4th in the country, giving up 52 yards a game. What's clicking right now for this run defense?
I just think guys just playing physical and just doing their jobs. Like they're not trying to do too much or too little. No, they're just doing what their job is, and then just playing with their hands well and getting off blocks. And Coach Newberry's calling us some really nice stunts from the box for us to do, and just things that can confuse the offensive line. We're stimming around a lot, so we're starting in one position and moving out to the other position, and really confusing the offensive line. So like not as sure of where they're blocking, who the responsibility is. I don't know. Our front 7 guys are really playing physical and fast and downhill, and Ramos and Busick and our guys are just balling out. So I think it's just a factor of the scheme that we're running, and also just the guys just playing hard and playing downhill and being physical.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, thanks a lot, Nick. Great job.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Nick.